Congress has led a campaign to lower the voting age nationwide to 16. Nancy Pelosi endorsed it. One Republican, who's not crazy, by the way, conservative Republican Michael Burgess of Texas, has joined them to support lowering the voting age to 16 years old. And he was brave enough and gracious enough to come on our show tonight and explain it, and we're grateful for that.
Well,
Congressman, thank you very much.
Well, thanks so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
So, you have children. I've had 4 16-year-olds. You've had a number of them yourself. Give my life for them. They shouldn't be voting. You must know that. You've been a physician. You deliver a lot of babies. 16-year-olds aren't really ready to vote, are they?
Well, they're certainly not ready to vote right after delivery. But look,
right. No, at 16.
Look, let's be clear about a couple of things. First off, this was an amendment that failed. It is never going to become law.
Right.
So let's not frighten people that this is a structural change in our society. However, I'm on the Rules Committee, and part of my job on the Rules Committee is to evaluate ideas that come before the Rules Committee as amendments. And when this representative from Massachusetts came forward and said, here's my idea, and I want it considered by the Rules Committee, and my first thought was, oh, no, that's not a good idea. But as I thought about it, you see things through the lens of your own experience. And when I was 16, did I pay taxes? Yeah, I worked. I paid taxes. I paid payroll taxes, maybe not income taxes. And then here's the other thing that really, after the sort of the 24 hours between the Rules Committee and the time the amendment came on the floor, what about this structural debt we're leaving to 16-year-olds, the national debt? This generation of adolescents is going to inherit more debt than any other generation.
Right.
And I think I've heard you talk on this, not just the structural debt, there's the acquired debt, there's the student loan debt that they are picking up.
For sure.
Colleges are encouraging it, they're facilitating it, and this is debt that cannot be discharged in bankruptcy.
I couldn't agree more, and I hope the Congress will fix that right away, because it's wrong, in my view. But 16-year-olds, if allowed to run the government, would accrue a lot more debt. That's why you don't give them credit cards, because they spend too much, because they don't have the time horizon.
I actually think, you know,
I don't think any wise parent would give a 16-year-old an unsupervised credit card. Do you?
I won't say that it doesn't happen, but look, they are participating in our society. But here's the bigger thing to me. What are we afraid of? I mean, 16-year-olds are going to be 18-year-olds in the next election cycle. This is a midterm election, 2018, 2020.
Well, I'm afraid of bad government.
But they're not going to be in charge of the government any more than an 18-year-old is in charge today.
But there are millions. I mean, there are more 16-year-olds, I think, than the margin in a lot of states between presidential candidates. It could make a big difference.
If what we're afraid of is that they will vote Democratic, then that's on us. We need to talk to people. We have better ideas. We're the party of emancipation.
So let me ask you, okay, so then why not 12-year-olds?
Well, and again, are you going to draw the line somewhere?
Well, I don't know.
16 seems to be in. Look, when the information was presented to me at Rules Committee and I thought about it, again, you see things through the lens of your own experience.
Right.
And at age 16, there was not a brighter bulb in the firmament than yours truly.
I believe you.
With time, I've tempered that a little bit. But if we are not willing to engage and talk to people in late adolescence, early adolescence, we're going to lose that generation.
I think you're right. Allowing them to vote is a different question. And if we allow them to vote on the pretext that they pay taxes, then 2 questions. Does that mean foreigners who pay taxes should be allowed to vote too?
No, of course not.
And does it mean that people who don't pay taxes shouldn't be allowed to vote?
You know that would never occur.
Okay, well,
let's do back up and stress the amendment didn't pass. It was brought to the floor of the House. 25% of the House thought it was a good idea, 75% did not. So this is not something that is going to happen. But I thought it was an idea worthy of consideration.
Last question.
Because I was willing to vote for it to be included in the package we brought to the floor.
I love your open-mindedness, and a lot of ideas that people think are insane are not insane. I happen to think this one is insane, but I love open-mindedness. Last question. Why do you think Democrats are in favor of this?
I think they're making the assumption that these individuals are going to vote Democratic. And again, this is where I think we need to work. We got to be talking to people. If we do not engage that age demographic, guess what? I promise you, Beto O'Rourke was in my district night and day when he was running for senator in Texas. And he made a lot of equity, maybe with people who couldn't vote in that election, but they will be with him in the next election.
I think you're right. I think that part is absolutely true. Congressman Michael C. Burgess, MD.
Thanks very much for having me on.